Counting us in. It's a good day. Good day. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Not Coming Soon. This is the premiere podcast in which we bring you the ideas of movies of the future. They won't be coming soon, and seems like nothing's coming soon. Who knows what the status of the strikes will be once we post this episode. Could be good, could be bad. We'll see.
Hopefully better.
You know more than us.
Yes, probably.
Well,
yeah.
Before we jump into movies and TV and entertainment,
all right,
I'd like to start by discussing the reunion of NSYNC.
But before we get to that, what is your name?
That's right. Great call. My name's Jeff.
I'm Ryan. You know, we gotta get those names in your brain.
Yeah. Jeff Myers. Yeah. And
Ryan Myers.
I just forgot to introduce myself because I'm so fired up about the reunion of NSYNC. What's going on there?
NSYNC.
Why is this
Insanity.
happening? Why? What is going on? Let me ask you something.
Oh, man. Do you ever strike a chord with yourself?
What is the status of Justin Timberlake's celebrity?
Oh, I don't know. Because we're going to talk about some rewatches that we've done later. I watched The Love Guru the other day. The man's career has been all over the place.
All over the place.
Boy band star, hip hop artist,
first
cool
of all,
bad boy.
Mouseketeer.
First a Mouseketeer, where all the greats get their start. Ryan Gosling was also a Mouseketeer?
This is correct.
Mickey Mouse Playhouse? That's correct, yeah. So, sorry, Mouseketeer, which took him to NSYNC, I'm assuming? I don't know.
I have no idea.
In Time,
I think. The
Social
Network?
The Social Network. He's in Shrek the fourth or third. Shrek the third.
He's one of the Shreks.
He's one of the Shreks. He's Tyrus and pop star. You can't get a beat on the guy. It's interesting.
I don't know. I don't know what he wants his career to be, and two, it seems like he's just the Trolls guy now.
That's right. I forgot about Trolls.
He's just like
Trolls,
an animated voice. He does one song for each Trolls movie. It seems like if you look at the log line of the Trolls 3, it is.
This is 4, isn't it?
I think it's just 3.
Is this Trolls 3?
I think this is just.
Is it
Trolls
just 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Whoa.
Let's do a little Googling. Trolls.
Was World Tour number 2?
I believe Trolls World Tour was number 2.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. Trolls Band Together is the name is the title of Trolls 3. Let me just read this for you.
It is 3.
Let me just read this for you right here. Poppy discovers that Branch and his 4 brothers were once part of her favorite boy band. The conceit of this movie is to get NSYNC back together.
Oh man,
that's the whole point of the movie.
So this has just been a long.
Do kids care? Kids don't care about NSYNC. Kids have no idea who NSYNC is. They think Justin Timberlake is Branch. Oh, Can't Stop the Feeling guy.
That's wild. Can't stop the feeling.
I'm fired up about this. It's really depressing to me, honestly.
When you led into this with "I'm fired up," I thought it was positive fired up.
No. It's so sad.
I couldn't tell you any of the NSYNCers other than JT and Joey Fatone. And I can only tell you Joey Fatone because he very carefully crafted his persona as Joey Fatone, the guy from NSYNC. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason I know who he is.
You're not familiar with Lance Bass?
I have heard the name Lance Bass.
Okay.
Although if we weren't talking about NSYNC right now, I would have thought we were talking about the that dude on Gossip Girl. Isn't his name Bass? Chuck Bass. Oh. Chuck Bass. I watched Gossip Girl.
I have not.
It's terrible. It's freaking awful. It's so bad. It's gosh darn terrible. Anyway. Bass. Chuck Bass. No, Lance Bass. Okay. Yeah.
The NSYNC reunion is really baffling to me.
Is it a tour?
They won't say anything. A peek behind the curtain of our recording schedule would tell you that on this day, Hot Ones released an episode with the NSYNC cast. And I have not watched it yet, but I'm going to as soon as we finish recording this. And I'm going to report back on what I think is going on. Because from what I can tell, all they've done is activate a TikTok account for the NSYNC handle, and they gave Taylor Swift an award at the VMAs. Oh. And now they've done a Hot Ones, and they're coming back for Trolls Band Together. But that hasn't even been announced. If you look at the trailer, there's nothing about NSYNC, and I'm pretty sure there's a Backstreet Boys song in the trailer.
Yeah. Well, they do it. Do they say NSYNC in the trailer? There's the. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah.
Yes. The part where they just name all they make all the boy band names. Like we're gonna Boys to Men, and then we got to go One Direction. That whole little thing he has to try to band them together. Does he say NSYNC?
I don't think that I've seen that trailer.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
Remains to be seen. Time will tell.
Yeah. Man. Dude, NSYNC better hope they don't run into you on the street.
No, I'm a softie. I'd ask for... No, I wouldn't talk to them. I would...
No, I would point and snicker. That's probably what I would do.
Really?
Maybe not snicker. Snicker's not the right word. No. Not mockingly. I'd be like, oh my god, it's NSYNC.
Oh, okay. I thought you...
Which is exactly... Yeah. No. Which is exactly what I did at the airport. I haven't told you. I was at the airport in Indianapolis. Who's coming in but Hall of Fame coach Tony Dungy.
Wow.
He's Jay chilling at the gate. We all board the plane. I never saw him get on. That was the last flight. I don't know what he was doing.
That's exciting.
Tony Dungy.
Wow, Tony Dungy.
It was exciting. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Well. Excited to see what the future holds for our friends at NSYNC.
NSYNC. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Who would have thought that the Trolls movie would have ignited this franchise?
I think that's what makes me the most upset. The fact that it is Trolls related.
What is that? Is it Universal? Is Trolls Universal?
Yes.
Who did the Ugly Dolls movie?
The Ugly Dolls movie.
Yeah, you may not have heard about it because no one heard about it. But it had Blake Shelton and Kelly Clarkson.
Wow. I can't say that I'm in that scene to be familiar enough with them.
Okay. But I'm wondering if that was a different studio's attempt at Trolls and it obviously did not work to the same effect.
I don't know, man. Well,
disclaimer: I'm not positive it's Blake Shelton. It's a country music star, and I don't know who it is, but I think it's Blake Shelton. But it could not be.
Cool.
Anyway, Ugly Dolls. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think I'd like.
That's how starved for content we are right now.
I think I'd like to move on.
Yeah.
So I think that with the current state of the actor and writer strikes, there's a little bit of a dearth of content. Only Murders in the Building is something that I'm watching.
Okay.
But there's not a ton of movies coming out, not a ton of TV that is premiering. So I've been doing a lot of rewatching. I don't know about you.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's all I can do these days.
Yeah. Well, I recently rewatched Jerry Maguire. Now, I don't know how this movie snuck into my subconscious, but I know like every line in Jerry Maguire.
That's not a short movie too, isn't it? Pretty long.
I didn't take a look at the runtime, but man, am I familiar with that movie. It must have been on like TNT all the time or something. I don't know why I would. But I am very familiar with all of the lines of Jerry Maguire. And you know what? It's a great movie.
Great movie. It's a powerful movie.
Powerful movie.
Jerry.
There's the one thing that I can do without is the like flashback scenes to his mentor who pops up every now and then.
Yes. I was actually going to bring up this exact point because it seemed like they were towing the line of this is an integral part of the movie. And, we forgot to put one in. There's like 3 of them out of the like 2 hours. It seems like it's like, when they break up a movie like Tarantino, I think it does this a lot, the like part 1 and all that, where they actually put up like title cards and stuff like that. It seemed like that was the intent, but it was not done effectively. I don't think I get confused by it as well.
Yeah, I think if you took that out of it, it would make zero difference in how I felt about the movie, except maybe a little bit more positively. I don't know. It can't.
Yeah, because we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Absolutely love the movie through and through, and it's like I don't think that I haven't watched it in quite some time, and this is the first time that I kind of like. I think it's the first time that I've watched it as an adult.
Okay. And
I like understood a lot more of like what was happening and the like implications of some of this guy's actions.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized how little he was making income-wise during this whole thing. When he leaves that, like he's like literally making $0. And he's paying a full-time employee.
That I was questioning myself, the logistics of that.
They do. They bring it up. They say that he's broke. He's driving his self into the ground, his savings to zero.
Right.
I can't even imagine. That's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah. So a lot of the adult
conviction
implications like really sunk in with me. Like, man, dating a single mother and taking on the responsibility of his child.
Yeah, man,
big stuff.
Getting heavier. Yeah, we'll go from trolls to
trolls, and then raising somebody else's child.
Raising Jonathan Lipnicki.
I mean, how could you not?
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot worse kids out there to have to raise.
Dude, what are you watching? Like, it's just really strong for content right now.
Yeah. I've come across a couple movies that have been out for some time that I hadn't watched before. One of them was Up in the Air, with George Clooney. And this is one of my favorite examples of the job that's not a job that people like write for movie people in movies to give them to drive the plot. Either it's hardly ever mentioned and it just shows that they have a job and they have money, or it's like they know what they want the plot to kind of be and it's like a thematic addition to the plot.
I'm a marketing executive.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes around the country and fires people. That's
He's
his
like,
job.
I'm a consultant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he literally works for a company run by Jason Bateman, that they just people outsource to them to come in and fire their people, and it's like he can do this because he's emotionless, and he just lets it brush off. He doesn't like feel emotions, but then this person comes along and makes him feel emotions. Amazing. So I really like those roles, because then it makes me think I want to have a job like that, when in fact they don't exist. Not necessarily to fire people, just to like I get to travel around the country and like not actually like this dude doesn't have to like do spreadsheets or anything. He just has to go in and be like, letting you go. Anyway, Up in the Air, George Clooney.
Yeah, Up in the Air. This was one of his life missions, was to hit like a tier status on his frequent flyer miles, right?
Yeah, he had to reach an obscene number. It's in the millions, or it's a million, 1 million. Yeah, and then he gets like, and the thing in the movie is like only 5 people have ever done it, and then you get this like special platinum card, and he compares cards with his like little flirty at the bar thing is to compare cards with another person who travels a lot. Very cute. But then, but of course, I mean, little spoilers here, but by the end of the movie, he realizes that card doesn't mean anything, and he actually gets it at the end and doesn't care.
Classic.
He's whole now. He doesn't need a card.
I'm pretty sure I watched this on the plane, which feels fitting, and I don't remember anything but that one detail. Like, I didn't know Jason
That's
Bateman
a good detail. Yeah. Jason Bateman, Anna Kendrick. And then I just remembered that the person that makes him feel things is actually married to someone else and has basically been having an affair with him. So I can't remember where it goes from there. I kind of feel like it just ends. I think it just ends.
Nice.
Wild.
It feels like one of those movies that you can just let wash over you and then let it flow right out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, these are funny. It's like the like 90s and 2000s movies, usually romantic comedy type movies.
Dramedy.
That like dramedy. Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine going to a theater and seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It just they feel like the movies that have existed for all of time and like just have always been on.
Yeah.
Either television or streaming. It's a weird vibe, but there's a lot of them.
It's not one of those, and does include George Clooney.
Hey, what?
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11. I wish I could have seen that in the theater.
Dude, oh my gosh. Which I did rewatch, and I watched it with a commentary track.
Nice.
If you own this, probably DVD or on iTunes. iTunes Extras.
iTunes.
Get a little iTunes Extra action going. You got 2 options for a commentary track. You got one with Steven Soderbergh, the director, and another one with Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, Brad Pitt.
Wow.
Phenomenal experience. I recommend going in to that watch experience. If you're gonna watch it with that commentary track, you got to know every single line of dialogue, because what they do is they lower the volume of the movie as they're talking. So anytime they come in and are talking to each other or talking just about the movie, the track on the movie lessens, so you can't hear what's going on in the movie. So be sure that you know every single line of Ocean's 11. I mean, who doesn't? But
right, of course.
It was very entertaining.
Nice.
I was enthralled by the different things that they had to say. There's just like little things about movie making that are so interesting, that are talked about. Like, this is they were talking about where all these things were filmed, what the schedule was like, because it was like shot very quickly, but then they split time between like LA and Las Vegas for most of the shoot, but then they did like destination shots with they like Miami and Miami for the dog track scene with when they when they got Saul.
Yeah.
And then Chicago for Matt Damon.
Did you have to?
We're all about authenticity here. You can't get the same kind of extras in Los Angeles compared to Florida. Come on.
It's true. It wouldn't have been a believable track. Yeah.
So, I'll tell you just something, just a little thing that was interesting about this flow that they had, because towards the end it becomes clear that they're not all in the same room. Like Matt Damon and Andy Garcia are obviously in the same room together, and Brad Pitt is somewhere else. Because Matt Damon and Andy Garcia were talking about the scenes that they had together, and then they were talking about scenes that they had with Brad Pitt. Like Brad Pitt was not in the room. They were talking when they had scenes like Andy Garcia was like, now when you came in and you talked to me and you had to break persona about blah, 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 whatever, your celebrity versus my celebrity and all that. That was really interesting. But and then they're talking about Brad Pitt, and they will refer to him as Brad did this, Brad did that, Brad's now Brad's gonna do this, blah blah blah. It was really weird. It was really weird and kind of jarring, but just man, to hear the stars, they're just like us.
Yeah, just like us. Did Brad talk about the scene with the celebrities where he's teaching them to play poker?
He did. Yes, they talked about that a lot. So when when
Topher Grace, baby.
Brad Pitt was talking a lot about the part of that scene when they leave the club, and there's a bunch of paparazzi outside the outside the place, and they mob Topher Grace, and they like Brad Pitt and George Clooney just walk right out, talking about how weird of an experience that was, even though it was like so staged. And then there's like little things, like there's a line in when they're sitting around the table and George Clooney's in there, and he's talking to Topher Grace about making the switch from TV to movies.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's like, "Is that hard?" And Topher responds, "Not for me." So like making there's such like commentaries on their own celebrities and so many meta moments in this movie. I love Oceans.
Movies are fantastic because I had not once for a second considered the irony of those situations.
Yeah.
Totally bought in.
Yeah.
I was totally bought in.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's delightful. That's incredible. Yeah. George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Some of the like just quintessential Hollywood leading men, and Topher Grace of That 70s Show, which wow.
Not so much.
That's
the same career there.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
crazy.
Absolutely delightful.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun rewatching that. Highly recommend if you check it out. Check out the DVD or on iTunes Extras.
iTunes Extras. Incredible. You mentioned authenticity.
Yeah.
And I saw a reel of I'm a real guy. Of Rowan Atkinson talking about somebody. I think the question was, what was your most like physically demanding thing you had to do? And he's like, well, we were shooting this movie called Mr. Bean's Holiday. And so right there, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be good. And he said the scene where I don't know, it's been a while, but there's a bunch of like actual cyclists like on a road, and he's like holding onto a car and his like leisurely bicycle. Yeah. And then he just goes flying by him and he's just like pedaling as they're like working really hard. He said that was incredibly difficult because they had to do multiple takes, and they had to go so slow to let him pass.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah. Well, because they had to like look like they were still moving on their bikes. So like he was saying he was dead by the end of the day because he was trying. He's like got that like jokey look on his face in the movie, but he's like, I'm working so hard to try to like go fast enough to pass these people. Watching Rowan Atkinson talk, because the dude's incredibly intelligent. He has a master's in engineering. Amazing. And he has a British accent, so he just sounds like a very intelligent guy. And then like seeing it come out of Mr. Bean's face is hilarious. Oh man, then that gets me thinking of Johnny English.
Dude, I don't think I saw the third Johnny English movie.
I don't think I did either. Yeah, I can't remember the second one very well either.
I feel like the second one was very forgettable.
I think so. That's why I feel like I didn't need.
And then I heard that the third one was better. But
oh, okay. I don't know.
know.
It's always fun to piece of trivia for it. Rowan Atkinson is Zazu in the animated Lion King.
Do you think people forget?
I think people forget.
Okay.
Well, I mean, unless you're really paying attention, you're not going to remember that Mr. Bean is in Lion King. People might forget.
Yeah.
I don't know. The casual fan.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you didn't know that Rowan Atkinson was Zazu, sound off in the comments.
Yeah. And if all of you did know, if you take a poll and literally every single one of you knew, you are allowed to come and slap me in the face. That's totally fair.
And that's legally binding.
If that's insult, and it's legally binding. If I insulted you all by saying you might not know, it's fair. Let me have it. I deserve to get hit. But yeah, Rowan Atkinson. Oceans. I was in Las Vegas recently.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I watched it actually on the plane on the way to Los Angeles. Nice. Not Los Angeles, Las Vegas. Yeah. Hot. It was very hot. And we, of course, watched the Bellagio fountain at night. And, of course, I'm pretending to, like I just pulled off the heist of the century, staring at the...
Did you put the music on?
Staring at the fountain. But I don't know. That must have been quite the ordeal to shut down that street and get, like, nobody there for them to stand in front of the Bellagio like that. Because it was crowded.
Yeah, gotta imagine. Yeah. That's crazy. I love that movie. I love all three of those movies.
It's a great movie. They're so good. Oh, when I was watching it, though, this latest time, I think I've registered it a bit in the past, but it really fully got me this time, was that the whole... Okay, correct me if I'm wrong here. The whole shtick where Rusty doesn't know that Danny's in it for Tess, that like whole bit, and where he's like, you're out, all staged for Matt Damon, right?
That's my understanding.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I fully understood the extent of which that was just, they were just messing with him.
Yeah.
Because when him and George are breaking into the vault, and he's like, man, why you got to do that to me? Can't you just...
Yeah.
I didn't know how deep that went. It goes deep.
I don't know if that went all the way to the beginning. I think I do believe that Rusty genuinely did not know that Terry Benedict was dating Tess until the moment with the escalator. Yes.
And it's probably where he pulls Danny aside when they're at the recreation of the vault site.
Yes, correct.
That can't be for Matt Damon's benefit because I don't know. No. It might have been there. It might not have been. No,
so I think it is just
fun. The whole Danny, you're out thing.
Yeah.
Complete show. Smoke and mirrors. Much like the heist itself.
Amazing.
Can't trust these guys. Man. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Another movie I watched that has been out there and I haven't gotten to was 500 Days of Summer.
Okay.
Which I for a second did not consider that summer was not the season. Even though 500 days is unnaturally it's not how long summer is. That's much too long. You actually get kind of two summers in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her name is Summer.
Wow.
Yeah. Incredible. That's a tricky one. You feel for the guy, you know?
Right.
And you question her intent, but then that's what love is, man. You can't predict this stuff. No.
I want to know what love is.
No. But yeah, I liked it. It's another one. He writes greeting cards. Nobody writes. Get out of here. That's not a job. Get out of here. I'm sorry if any of you write greeting cards.
Somebody's got to write them. There's got to be somebody who writes them.
I guess.
He's out of a job now. I feel like ChatGPT is
AI.
prime greeting card writer.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's gonna go the way of the other job that
Dodo
doesn't go the way of the dodo. I was gonna try to. I was using the phrase to go find like a job that doesn't exist now because of technology, and my mind blanked. So yeah, go the way of the dodo because of AI. But I like the like boardroom they go to tell all their ideas to Coulson. Coulson from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the manager of this greeting card company.
Wow.
But then he becomes an architect and it's all cool.
Fascinating. I really don't remember anything about this movie.
Yeah, so he writes the greeting cards, and then he wants to be an architect because he can draw good. Mm-hmm. But then he reads some books, and then the whole thing was summer. He's like, screw it, I'm gonna go become an architect. Much like Jerry Maguire leaves his job to pursue his passions. Boom.
There we go.
All ties together. We think of this very thoroughly before we come here. And
it's all mapped
weave
out.
The web. It's all mapped. Like I even need to say it, it's obvious. Obvious.
But you know what's obviously not coming soon?
Our next story. It sounds like.
You got a little seed for us today?
I got a seed. I'm going to plant this seed and we're going to see where it grows.
See where it grows.
Yes. I hope it gets to where it's going. So, my idea for you is this. We establish in the beginning time travel exists.
Okay.
It's fact of life.
Okay.
Maybe we go into the like whoever invents it, but that's kind of the funny thing about time travel is actually no, we're not going to go into that because the funny thing about time travel is if it exists at any point in time, it exists at every point in time. So there is no actual genesis. So here we go. So yeah. Okay. So we follow someone who's in present day. Mm-hmm. Present day. Does the thing exist with time travel? And what time travel has done is gone to other time periods and then basically made it like a tourist attraction where it's like set up kind of like a zoo where you travel to these various time periods and like watch like it's a museum. And so it's trying to deal with the ramifications of that. And then also kind of thinking that towards the end, somebody arrives from a different time period and makes their time period, like starts to try to do the same thing to them.
Oh yeah, baby. That's sick. Okay. So I think, wow, man, I love our time travel capers.
Yeah, I know. I was like, did we do time travel too much?
But it's awesome. It's so there are so many like theories about time travel and like rules that you have to come into and establish in the world. So it's such an interesting problem and world building exercise. So in this story, in this reality, what happens if you interact with the past? Do you change the future, or is this infinite realities kind of deal?
I think there's been so much time travel, and it's like so where I came up with this idea, there's a area park, I guess you can call it, around where I'm living, that has like an old timey like frontier prairie town set up as like kind of a living exhibit.
Okay.
So that I think every time period kind of becomes this living exhibit where, and it's been done so much at this point that the whole timeline is just a hodgepodge of everything, and people from that time period are kind of just like whatever. It's they go about their day normally as somebody walks around. It's like a tourist in a different town, different city.
So it's like actual Westworld almost. Like it is like
Yeah.
they're not robots, they're real people. You are going to them.
That's exactly what that's exactly what this is. Yes.
Sweet. That's awesome. So
I didn't think about it like that. That's a good way to look at it. That's exactly what this is. Yeah.
So interesting. So it's almost like when you time travel, like you have the present day has set up these time jump points from present to this particular spot. So this particular spot has been isolated from time, and it is just its own, like there's no progress there. You're not affecting anything in the main timeline. So this is
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you have a main timeline, and that's where our story starts, and it's established that in this timeline they've created time travel, and they jump to these various points that sit aside the timeline and don't progress and there's no future there. There's nothing to screw up.
Right. And so since that's exactly right. And since that, you make a great point about no progress, because obviously you can't have everyone time jump to the exact same period of time, because then they would all be there at the exact same time. You can't have somebody time travel to October 8th, 1865 and then leave, and then somebody else come to October 8th, 1865, because technically they'll be there at the same time, even though one leaves further than the other. So they just allow time to progress with nothing changing, so that they can do what is the movie where they time jump and it's like a raft going down two continuous streams? The Tomorrow War, I think.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't
Pratt.
remember the mechanism for time travel, but
I think it's because they're like, hey, why don't we just keep going back to like right before it all breaks loose? And they're like, because they set up something at the time coordinates over here, and then they're in present day over here, and you can go back, you can jump here, but they're both continuously moving like this.
Right.
Is their shtick. Anyway. Surprisingly good movie.
Me too. I had a good time with the Tomorrow War.
It's a cool idea. I like it. It's a beautiful metaphor for climate change. It's great.
Bing, bang, boom.
It all comes back from the melting of the ice caps. Someone, I don't know if anyone told Chris.
Okay, so
anyway, moving on.
Okay, so we have this main timeline, we have this starting point, and they have these different resorts that are in different times. So there's like a cowboy one, there's an industrial revolution one, there's
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the world. And you're saying somebody further on this timeline comes back to our main story time.
Yeah. Yes.
And does the same thing.
And I was originally thinking that's like the end, and it's like, oh, whoa, implications. But now I'm kind of thinking that's our main conflict, and that happens in the beginning of like Act 2.
Okay.
And it's them trying to deal with becoming the exhibit.
Yeah, because it's pretty existential. Because it's like you don't really exist, and your existence is meaningless because it is now become just an exhibit on on a
Yeah.
thread, or off of the main thread. You're
Yeah.
nothing that you do will affect anything real.
Yep. Wow.
Sick.
That was great. That was, yeah, okay. That developed quick. That's perfect.
Okay, but
Love
so I feel like that's like a good setup of the world, and the main concept of where we want to take it is: do you fight, or how do you deal with? Do you fight it, or how do you deal with the idea that you're just a piece in a museum?
How, does this create too much complexity here? If we take a character from each period we want to look at, and it's their parallel struggle at the same issue, is it too much? Should we focus on the current time?
We could
I feel like this is a tricky one plot-wise.
So we could do something where we have our main character who's discovered that their timeline is being taken over and clipped from the main timeline. And maybe they go back to these other places and see what it's like, or talk to the people in these various places of like, what do you wish you did to either stop or like what is your existence like, and would you change it?
Yeah. And so probably a good way to resolve all this is this person getting help from these past timelines who kind of are beyond help at this point. And it's that our timeline or our reality has kind of screwed you guys over, but buck stops here. We're gonna stop it, and maybe they make I don't know. Maybe we destroy time travel equipment, however this works.
I think that's kind of like what we can get to at the end, is realizing that it's cruel what they're doing.
Yeah.
And cutting it off at the source.
Yeah. Right on.
And do you think that the end is them going back along the main thread and finding cutting off the time travel ability to begin with?
So this is where we dive into that, what are our rules?
Yeah, the grandfather paradox. Like,
right.
Do you think that there's a setting? Let's invent something here.
Yeah.
So,
dude, yeah, that's what we're doing all day.
So the reason that they can go back at these various points that are parallel to the main thread is something that they have created and a specific setting in the time jumping that has been regulated so that they cannot jump along the main thread. They have to jump parallel to the main thread so they don't affect their current time.
Yeah.
And simple changing of the time travel equipment will allow them to jump along their main thread and change things from the past. So then it becomes almost like not a suicide mission, but a mission that you don't come back from, right?
Yes, I'm envisioning that the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah. So you take a crew back in time with the mission of destroying the time equipment. stopping it from happening to begin with, but then you have to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's as if it never happened.
Yeah.
Well, I do also kind of like the notion of what has happened. Well, what has happened? Well, because you can't really do that, because what has happened in the past, there's no concept of past when you're dealing with something like this. Other than, well, I guess there is, because they go to the past to, but then they become the past when
that's the
future
idea.
visits them.
The idea is that there has been something that has restricted them from jumping on the main timeline. So they're not able to do that because of a limitation that's been put on the equipment.
Yeah.
But with some modifications, a little bit of hacking the mainframe, you can adjust the time equipment and jump along the main thread. And that is what has happened. And that is with somebody trying to change and make them an exhibit. So like,
yes,
somebody's jumped back along the main timeline and is attempting to push them off of the main timeline.
Yes. Yeah.
In order to stop that from happening, they have to go back and change or eliminate time travel. And then, of course, we'll have to do a sacrificial, I'll stay behind. You guys, I'll send you guys back home, but I'm going to finish this here.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And the solution to this is basically an all or nothing time. Just stop. You have to destroy the capability to do it.
Yeah.
And so if it doesn't exist at one point, it doesn't exist at all points.
Yeah.
And then maybe he leaves, like it's he's back a certain amount of time in history, and he leaves him a little something that they come across as they return.
He is the person who gets stuck back there starts by being fascinated by that time in history when they when they invented time travel. I'm thinking this is just I'm taking the reins on this.
Let's go.
Like, so
absolutely.
I'm thinking that the time travel invention happens like around present day our time. So the future where they have time travel established and all that is well into the future, and they come back to around here. So it's like today's environment. So he's...
Okay, yeah. And so our character is coming from that future where it's established.
Yes, coming from the future where it's established, and then they come back here, and he's fascinated with this time here.
Yes. Nice. Man. All right. Beautiful.
Sweet.
I don't have a title. I feel like I should know this, but I can't place it. It's going back in time. Going back in time. The white horse. What is that? Going back in time.
That is the song that played in the TBS teaser for whenever they played the Lord of the Rings.
Going back in time. Is it an actual song though?
I have no idea. I only know it from the TBS teaser for the Lord of the Rings playing.
Okay, so hear me out here. We do kind of like how Reservoir Dogs doesn't mean anything. Quentin says that the title means nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah. What if we just call it White Horse, and it's just a big inside joke between us all listening to this podcast? Like the White Horse is some big symbol. We don't have to. I think we can come up with something better, especially coming off of Red Oak for the foyer.
How about this?
Yeah.
If I If I can't turn back time.
I can't turn back time. I feel like if we do that, because I feel like we always go into stuff thinking it as a kind of a drama.
Yeah.
But they just inadvertently kind of sneak into the comedy realm. Because we do it with a little bit of a humorous flair.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be boring. We don't be.
No, exactly. If I can't turn back time. That's the trailer song.
That could easily be the title of a series movie. If I can't turn back time.
Yeah, but I feel like it's like of a movie that wants to be really serious, but takes itself like too seriously, and it's just like okay, guys.
Okay. If I can't turn back time.
This title is already taken, but it would have been awesome. Somewhere in Time. Would have been cool.
How about this?
Yep.
If I can't turn back time, parentheses, white horse.
If I can't turn back time, the white horse.
Donkey's Revenge.
Too fast, too Duncan. Greatest title screen of all time. Wow, we'll never have those.
Huh? Oh yeah, those are gone.
Like DVD screens.
Yeah, DVD menus are a thing of the past.
Menus, that's what it is.
Wow. Yeah. Well, let me see here. So
we can go with If I Can't Turn Back Time.
Oh no! You don't like it. You don't like it. We need to both like it.
Okay.
Okay. So we're trying to be, but I actually, I don't know.
What?
I'm kind of liking. How about the white horse?
I think we could do the white horse. I mean, we got to put a white horse in it as well, just so it's, just kind of like, a manifestation of the metaphor.
What's the metaphor? All right, the white horse. That's it.
The white horse.
And I have a connection for you.
Okay, yeah. What's the connection?
I want you to take me from Joseph Gordon-Levitt to Topher Grace.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt to Topher Grace. Oh, come on. Dude, my mind is spinning webs.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Quite literally, exactly. To Joseph Gordon-Levitt. God, I just keep going back to Spider-Man. I just keep looping. Because, okay, I'm just going to probably have to talk through this one. Topher Grace is in Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
Obviously. So I could go the Ocean's route. We're trying to get the Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We can't do. This isn't fair to use George Clooney as Batman universe. That's just too.
Batman universe does not work.
No. Man, I feel like Matt Damon is he's giving off the vibe of a Nolan regular, but he isn't. A Christopher Nolan regular? Oh, I don't know his name. Oh, no. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my. Okay. If you're not coming over here to slap me in the face for the Rowan Atkinson thing, come over now. My gosh. Okay, Topher Grace is in Ocean's 11 with Matt Damon. Matt Damon is in Oppenheimer with Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy is in Dark Knight Rises with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow was just like not in my brain.
No.
I was thinking of. Do you know who I'm talking about? The guy.
Oh yes, I forget his name.
Okay, I know.
In, like,
so
Ant-Man
that's I had him.
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's where my brain was, and I just couldn't. Oh, okay.
So, Topher Grace is in Oceans with Matt Damon, who's in Interstellar.
Is in what?
Interstellar.
Cellar?
Interstellar. With Anne Hathaway.
I gotta watch it.
Who's in Dark Knight Rises with Joseph.
Yeah. I gotta watch Interstellar again. I gotta watch all of his movies.
Now I couldn't place this movie and I couldn't remember it. So I didn't use it in my connection. However, I was going to do Topher Grace is in Spider-Man 3.
Right.
With Tobey Maguire, who's in Spider-Man 2 with Alfred Molina, who's in Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford, who's in, and I'm just getting back to Oceans. So I'm not actually going to do that.
But what was the movie?
Harrison Ford is in a movie with Brad Pitt, where Brad Pitt plays an IRA guy who's in hiding in the U.S. And I'm forgetting the name, so I'm just gonna Google it. The Devil's Own.
Yeah. Yeah, where Brad Pitt has the terrible Irish accent. Yeah. And somebody's like doing bombs in Boston, right?
Yeah, he's like I think that they're like purchasing bombs and stuff for the IRA and the
devil. Yeah. I have seen that actually.
And you gave it 2 stars.
Ooh. Yeah, I think my review is critical of his accent.
It's not a great film.
No, it's not.
But
worth a watch.
Cannot be winners.
No, that's true. There's a lot out there.
Well,
except for all of ours are pretty winny,
I'd say so.
Well, we had a phenomenal start to The White Horse, which clearly in the title indicates it's a time travel film. For all those TBS familiars. You're very funny. Very funny. So we thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining us. We are happy to fill the dead air space that currently exists in the entertainment world. And we are just so pumped that you get to enjoy it with us, if you can enjoy it. But until next time, I have been Ryan.
And I have been Jeff.
And, as always, we sincerely hope you get to where you're going.
Indeed.
Stay safe.
And thirsty.
And thirsty. Stay thirsty. It's Thursday. Hey.
Hey.
Hey. Hey. Right.